George Washington Carver, born enslaved. George Washington Carver was born in Missouri in 1864 during the Civil War. The Civil War, 1861 to 1865. The Civil War was a fight between two sides of the United States, the North and the South. When it began, slavery was legal in 15 slave states in the South and illegal in 17 free states in the North. Many people in the North wanted to end slavery in all the states. Many people in the South wanted to keep slavery legal. In order to do this, they tried to break away from the North and start their own country. The North went to war to keep the United States just that, united. united. The North won the war, and eventually enslaved people in the United States were freed. George was born an enslaved person, but when the Civil War ended, he and his older brother Jim were freed. However, both of their parents had died, and the brothers were still very young. Jim was six and George was only one. They stayed living in Moses and Susan Carver, the couple who had enslaved them. Jim worked with moose in the fields, but George was often sick and stayed at home to help Susan. She taught him to read, write, and sew. What George liked best, though, was to garden and explore nature. Learning on his own, Carver taught himself about plants and animals. He wanted to go to school to learn even more, but many schools at that time were segregated. This meant that white and black students could not go to the same school. Since the nearby school did not allow black students, George left the Carver home for another school when he was 12. He lived with the Watkins family and worked for his mills and room. At 13, he moved to Kansas. When George graduated from high school, he earned a scholarship to go to Highland University in Kansas. When he arrived at the college, however, the school turned him away because he was black. Carver was unhappy, but he did not give up learning. He farmed and taught himself to paint. His friends told him to try a different college. He went to Simpson College in Iowa to study art. This time, the college accepted him. Making a difference, Carver liked Simpson College, but he wanted to help others more. He decided to study agriculture, the science of farming, at Iowa State Agricultural College. He was the school's first black graduate. He later became the school's first black professor. In 1896, George moved to Alabama and began teaching at Tuskegee University. He taught there for 47 years. Professor Carver wanted to help the farmers in Alabama with a big problem. Each year their crop was smaller, and the farmer struggled more and more. Carver quickly realized that the years of growing cotton had worn out the soil. The farmers barely made enough money to buy food, so they had no money to buy fertilizer that would help the plants. Professor Carver taught the farmers that dead leaves and swamp muck could be added to the soil as free fertilizer. Planting sweet potato, peas, or peanut in the field after the cotton was picked also helped the soil. These crops put important nutrients back in the soil after they were used up by cotton plants. Carver sent out information about how to grow and cook these crops. By eating them, farmers spent less money buying food and stores. Farmers also needed a way to sell the new crops, so Professor Carver became an inventor. He invented more than 100 ways to use sweet potato and 300 ways to use peanuts. The truth about peanut butter. Carver invented up the to 300 uses for the peanut: pavement grease, mediciners, peanut coffee, peanut mayonnaise, peanut flour, peanut milk, shoe polish, bleach, sandpaper, and more. Contrary to popular belief, however, he did not create peanut butter. Hundreds of years ago, the Aztecs from central Mexico are known to have eaten a paste made from peanuts. The Inca from Peru did the same thing even earlier. It wasn't as creamy as tasty goo we eat today, though. Ideas are free. By 1921, people were listening to Carver's ideas. Was asked to speak before the U.S. Congress, the country lawmaker. Some members of Congress laughed and made fun of him. He had been given 10 minutes to talk, though, and he made the most of them. Carver talked about all the things that could be made with the tiny peanuts. The men fell silent. When Carver's 10 minutes were up, they gave him more time. In the end, they passed a law that helped U.S. peanut farmers. The law charged other countries more money to sell goods, such as peanuts, in the United States. Over the years, Carver became as famous as many celebrities are today. Crowds gathered to hear him speak. He turned down jobs and money because he thought helping people was more important. He believed that ideas were free and should be freely given. A lasting message. George Washington Carver died in 1943 at the age of 78. He believed that people should treat each other with consideration. He won the respect of a nation at a time when few black people got much respect at all. His legacy has lasted long after his death.
Good job!